Today on To The Point, KB finally meets KO.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome on in To The Point, presented by Dance Network and Popcorn Talk. We are so excited about today's guest because I know a lot of you have waited a long time. We want to welcome to the show Kendra Oyesanya.
Oyesanya, yes.
Oyesanya.
Yes.
I know. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I know. I was telling you when I posted yesterday that you were coming on the show, people were sliding into my DMs going, finally.
Thanks,
Holy
guys.
crap. That was another one that I thought was hilarious.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think a lot of people relate to your story. I think that's one of the best parts is that you weren't the kid that was at 3 years old in ballet class with everyone.
Not at all. I wish, but I was not, unfortunately. But fortunately, because then I wouldn't be where I am today. But I was just always that kid that liked to dance in her living room and at the little functions, the family parties, and crash the party and just break out the Running Man in front of my family. And then, talent shows in high school. I danced at church, but never trained formally, so...
Did you know you had a gift? I mean, you know when you're a good dancer and you're like, great, I'm fun at a party, but did you know that this could take you to a higher level?
I did not know at the time, being in Oklahoma where I'm from. It wasn't until like later on when I got into college and they were having me be guest acts for, the Step Show or International Festival and things like that. And then entering this Pepsi contest that I did that was like, oh, maybe I could actually do this professionally.
Yeah, take us back to that because it was Pepsi's Dance for a Chance, right?
Yes.
In 2013.
2013.
The year that changed it all.
Yeah. So I submitted a video amongst hundreds of videos, and it really was just 10 seconds. You had to just remake Beyonce's Pepsi commercial at the time where she's dancing in the mirrors and like literally just remake that. So I did it, and 8 of us got flown to New York, $300 cash. We got to meet Beyonce, go to her concert, and do a super fan video with her choreographer, Chris Grant. So on set, from doing that and from dancing, and people on set are like, do you do this professionally? And I'm like, no, I just, do it on the side.
Do it for fun.
Do it for fun. And they were like, you should really do this. You should become a dancer. And, back then I didn't think I was good enough to move to LA and actually pursue dance professionally. But people are putting this bug in my ear, and I'm like kind of listening, but I'm still like, whatever. And then I talked to Chris Grant and was like, what if I really wanted to pursue this? And he said, you need to move to LA. You'll do really good.
Okay, what is it that Chris said to you? Because I think that, a lot of people have Hollywood dreams and think, I'm going to move here and I'm going to be an actress. But there's always that little light bulb moment, the one that Oprah always says, the aha moment. What did Chris say to you that you go, okay, I should be doing this?
No, that's what it was, because people back home always say, you need to move to LA, you need to move to LA, you should go do this. Why don't you audition for this? Or so you think, and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, one of these days I'll do it. Inside, I'm like, I'm not moving to LA. Like, what? They don't know what it takes to be a real dancer. They're just my friends. But clearly they seen something in me that I didn't see in myself.
They saw your magic.
They did. Come on, magic. So then just talking to Chris, and me at the first stomach the courage to like ask him, because it's Chris Grant. I didn't he was on Michael Jackson's This Is It
He's
tour.
Working with legends.
Yeah, so he was like, and I guess it was that aha moment of him saying that I need to move to LA, that he believed that I would do really good, was me being like, well, if Beyonce's choreographer says that I need to move to LA, I'm moving to LA. And like a month and a half later, I left.
Were you in LA in 2013, or did like a year pass?
No, actually, no. The video, let's see, I won it in July. The Superfan video came out in August, and all my family and friends are like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And then September, the day after my birthday, I moved to LA. So
you're a doer.
Yeah, a whole bunch of faith. Whole bunch of faith. And my family's like, what? Because it's not like I planned it. I didn't plan to move to LA. I had a boyfriend at the time. He's like, you're going where? Like,
bye.
Yeah, I was like, bye. But I just up and left. But everyone was like super, super supportive. And it just all worked out.
you moved to LA, and I know a lot of people move here and they've got plans and they've saved and they know where they're going to study and how they're going to do their audition and they've got the agent lined up. Are you just arriving here with a suitcase and a dream?
Yes, a suitcase, a dream, faith, and no family and friends. I did a little research and I talked to some people who lived in LA to give me a little bit of advice, but really I had to figure out everything on my own. Like, I remember taking my first headshots in LA. Like, I wore the typical sparkly bra, high-waisted short, like looking hot mess. I don't even hope nobody ever sees that. But,
You're like, please don't resurface.
Right. But the crazy thing is, the day I picked, I moved the day after my birthday, and there was an agency audition that same day. So I literally flew in with my suitcase, went to the mall, got some shoes and an outfit, and went to this agency audition, made it to the end, and got an agent, like, the first day. So that's when it was like, okay, this
is a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. I'm going to be okay. Yes, I went through a whole bunch of stuff after that, but I literally Google, research, and just, I just went with it. And
you really have to rely upon people, even if you don't know people when it comes to Los Angeles. I moved from New York to here, and I thought, I know this industry, I'm good. You don't. Every city has its own flavor and style, and what they decide is the cultural, audition process.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Atlanta, because you're working in Atlanta probably feels completely different to New York and LA as well. So who were you relying upon? Were you asking other dancers? Were you asking choreographers, like, should I be doing this? Should I be taking class here?
Kind of, sort of, because I didn't know anyone, so I literally just had to take dance class and hope someone speaks to me, like, hi, like, I'm here, I'm new. But that's the good thing about, like, training in LA, which if you are new and then you have something, people will come to you and they're like, who are you? Where are you from? Like, you just got here? Like, they can always
seen you before.
Yeah, they can tell, like, when someone's new. And then just some dancers and choreographers I ask, but a lot of the time, because everyone's journey is so different, but what they went through doesn't mean you're going to go through it. How they made it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make it that way. So I had to do a lot of just figuring out on my own and just by experience, by going to all these auditions and hearing all these no's. I'm like, okay, something's not working. Like, what can we do to fix this? And just really working on myself, my body, my look, and all of that, getting new headshots, the right ones. And that is what kind of made me get it. And then, just figuring it out on my own, basically.
That's incredible. What was that first job that you thought, holy cow, I really can do this?
The first job, I did a little, little jobs, but my first audition where I booked it on my own, not knowing the choreographer, not knowing this person, was Paul McCartney's Say, 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 featuring Michael Jackson. Like, they redid it. They were looking for steppers. And in high school, I was on the step team, was like captain of my step team, and that's pretty much like the first style that I knew that, like, I can do. And that was the first job I booked where I got, like, a real rate and call sheet, and I'm like, this is great.
But by the way, Paul McCartney.
Yeah, and it's Paul McCartney, like, legend. And I could tell, like, a lot of the other dancers that I booked it with, like, they were like, this is nothing because they didn't book before. But I'm like, this is like, it was big to me.
Yeah, you got to understand. You're like, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I was. So that was exciting. That was my first job. And I booked that, I think, maybe 2015. So your first year, you ain't booking nothing.
No, you're not.
You're figuring it out. You're figuring out, what is this? How do I do it?
Trying to figure out how to get on the freeway, over the hill.
All of that.
Not realizing that it takes an hour to get anywhere in this town.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing.
Figure that out.
And
really
trying to show up to that audition on time. And I think you made a really good point. You didn't know the choreographer, especially in the dance community. Choreographers have this group of dancers that they love to use over and over again.
Yeah.
And breaking into that circle for someone is tough.
Yeah, because you have to, take their class. And then if that choreographer, okay, he doesn't teach. So how do you get to that choreographer who doesn't teach? Okay, who's their assistant? So then you go take their assistant's class. And then you just go to their workshops, or whenever you feel like they're there, that's when you show up. But I didn't have a lot of choreographers under my belt where I'm like, I know this person's going to call me for this job. Not just moving to LA. So that was the cool moment, was just not knowing anybody and getting the job.
Relying on your talent.
Yeah,
because a lot of this town is networking, and that's the honest truth of it. But at the same time, when you have an audition where you're like, they hired me for me.
Yeah, it just makes you feel so much better, and it pushes you harder to be like, okay.
That validation. You're like, I'm ready for the next job.
Yeah, for sure.
You toured a lot with artists before you got Step Up. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was on the tour with P. Diddy and the Bad Boy family, Lil' Kim and Mace and all of them. Like, this huge reunion tour is like the best moment of my life.
That must have been amazing.
It was so much fun because it's all the songs that you grew up on and that you love. So to be dancing to the songs that I grew up listening to was like...
How did I get here?
How did I get here? And again, I remember going to that audition, and they were only looking... they only hired 2 of us out of, all these girls, and that was Laurie Ann. We were talking about that earlier.
We were talking about Laurie Ann Gifts,
we were Miss Laurie Ann.
Judge on So You Think You Can Dance. And perhaps coming by for a visit soon.
Yes.
Let's talk about Laurie Ann, because we were talking a little bit about her. She is real. Honestly, she'll give you the praise when she knows that you deserve it and put in the hard work, but she will also let you know when you are not succeeding.
Yes.
And how you need to achieve that success.
I know it firsthand, actually, because I remember being on tour, and one of the girls wasn't feeling well, so she was my opposite on tour. And
meaning you were on either side of the stage.
Yeah, so then, exactly. So she wasn't feeling good, so she decided, I'm not going to go on stage. So I'm like, okay. The other dancer's like, okay, well, then you don't have to go on stage because it's going to be uneven. I'm thinking it's going to be uneven. One girl missing is going to be weird.
You're worried about symmetry in this moment.
Exactly. Not exactly. Was worried about the wrong thing. And I remember getting off stage, and then Laurie Ann's like, what happened? Like, why weren't you on stage? I was like, well, one of the girls, never not go on stage. I will fire you. Do you understand me? And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah. So, but then, like, literally right after that, she's like, hey, how's it going? Da-da-da. So I know it's one of those things where, because all the girls like, don't worry, like, she's yelling at all of us. It's one of those things where it was my first tour, and she was teaching me, like, you all worry about yourself and you don't stop dancing, because she's
That's
like,
right.
I would go off stage and I would be throwing up and then go back on stage and still perform, and you have to do that. The show must go on regardless, and you can't make those executive decisions because
you're not the executive in charge.
Exactly. So that was a lesson learned. Woo, never again.
And I think too, a lot of people don't realize that on a world tour, there are no understudies. It's not like Broadway where they have swings and things like that. Someone can step in for you. You're sick. Usually you wind up performing unless there's a serious injury or you just physically can't.
And just on tour, just live shows in general, like something always goes wrong. Something can always go wrong. So you have to always learn to adjust and adapt. And that's probably like the biggest advice I've probably learned doing shows like that, is just always adjust. If the artist is not going to always be in their spot on stage, then maybe they'll be more to left, but you're like, no, they're supposed to be on the right. But then that means
out of your control, and
you have to figure it out, and you have to make it look like you're not figuring it. Yeah, you know what I mean? The audience should never know that there was a mess up.
They don't want to see the face.
Exactly. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna go over here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's important. And I think, too, especially when you're on tour, you're going to different theaters, you're going to different stadiums. Every single theater and stadium presents its own challenges, too. You have the really old one that you're like, holy cow, this hasn't been renovated in 20 years. And then you go to the brand new one where you're like, this is beautiful. But sometimes they're thinking more about technology than the performers.
Yeah, and then also through the stage, you thinking, okay, we have this much space. And then you get there and it's way smaller than the space that you thought. So it's like,
quick changes become challenging.
Oh, yeah. A lot of wardrobe malfunctions.
Or if you have to go to the other side of the stage and, run to...
You got to make it in time. You may only have a song, or you may not even have a song, just a quick little dance break, and then you have to be in the next number and on stage and not look like you just rushed and did a whole marathon and get on there.
Yeah, you've got to get there.
Yeah.
That's important. The dance career has a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Like, how do you ride some of the lows? Because I think that we always cheer on all the successes, but when we're having a rough time, and that can be a rough time personally, it can be a rough time professionally, you have to find a way to sort of muscle through, and you have to find a way to keep your mental health in check, too. How do you do it?
I do it a lot of prayer. So important. Prayer. Picked up meditation, like doing that as little as like 5 to 10 minutes a day, just to really just make sure I get through the day. And even if I am dealing with something or going through some challenges, like I know like I'm always going to be okay. Like, because you go through so much stuff in your personal life, but you're there for a reason. God wouldn't have me here for a reason to be doing what I love and pursuing this if I wasn't supposed to be here. So all the little things that happen in my life, they're just minor little setbacks and minor challenges, but I'm going to always get through it. So meditation, working out, and just keeping my faith. It's so important. And
it keeps you grounded.
It keeps me grounded, like really, truly believing in yourself. And it's so like cliches to say believe in yourself, like, oh, that's easy, but it's not as easy as people think it is. You say you believe in yourself, but do you really believe in yourself? Are you really going after your dreams? Are you really going and doing what you love and not letting any of your doubts stop you? And then by listening to motivational videos and things like that, I had to really change my mindset and really believe in myself, telling myself that there's nothing I think that I can't do. And that takes a lot of that's a big thing to say, but I believe in myself so much now that I can say that, and it just really helps me to keep pushing and keep going. Even when bad things happen, I just keep going.
Well, I have to say, I know Holly Sorensen, you're creator of Step Up High Water. We've had her here on the show, and I'm sure she doesn't mind if I say this, but she and I have a little secret DM going on that's been going on for a couple years now, which is good. And I said, I finally have Kendra coming on the show, and she wrote in huge capital letters, she is so, like a lot of O's, special. And she just said that you have a gift, you have something that no one else has. You have a quality that attracts people to you, wants to watch the projects that you're doing. And she loves the fact that, yes, you're doing Step Up High Water, but you're with Beyonce, and you're working on your own things as well. You're really working yourself as an artist, and she just really loves that aspect of you.
Thanks, Holly. I love you. We call her Mama Holly.
Mama Holly.
Mama Holly.
I've been a fan of Holly since Make It or Break It. Have you seen her gymnastics show?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I remember her just tweeting the other day, let's bring it back. So I think she wants to bring it back.
It is addicting, let me tell you. Yeah. It's one of my faves. How did the Step Up High Water opportunity come your way?
It came my way through an audition. The first time I got it, I actually passed it up. I didn't even go to it because I was out of town. And then I got it the next week, and I was like, okay, I think I'm supposed to go to this audition.
Was it a dance audition, or were you going into as an actor?
Well, it was a dance audition. Okay. And it's funny because I had it was that audition, and then it was Honey 4 auditions for dancers. So I remember going to Honey 4 audition, bombing that like never before. Oh my gosh.
What happened when you bombed?
So
tell us.
Okay, so this is a crazy story. So my dream was always to work with Jamaica Craft.
By the way, choreographer on Step Up High Water.
Exactly. Coming to that real soon. So
they're tied.
Yeah, exactly. So I always want to work with Jamaica, and Jamaica does not tease. She's very in the cut. You don't know where she's at, but she works. So I remember this is my first time traveling to an audition. It was in Atlanta, and it wasn't a huge call, a lot of girls, but I remember going in, learning the choreography, feeling good about it. Then when it's time to audition in front of her, I just went blank. I couldn't remember anything, and that never happens to me in auditions. Usually if I do go blank, I'm able to find it,
pick it up,
back up. For some reason, it was just not
your day.
It was not my day, and I bombed, and I did not get that call back. And I remember leaving, crying my eyes out because I was like, "But I really wanted to work with her." Da, da, da.
I'm supposed to be in Honey 4.
I'm supposed to be in Honey 4, and but the Step Up audition was 2 days later. So I had to fly to LA, go to the Step Up audition. I did the dance audition with Jamal Sims, who's a choreographer.
I love Jamal Sims.
Yes, I love Jamal.
By the way, the Aladdin choreographer now
yeah,
in theaters.
I just saw it this weekend. It was so good.
So great.
I love you, Jamal, too. Yeah, he was the choreographer for season 1, but he had to leave and do Aladdin. So he was the choreographer for the audition. I remember doing it, getting a call back, and reading the role for Poppy. And just really owning it. I was like, okay, this girl is me, And I auditioned for the role, then got a call back, audition for the executive producers, and I got the job that way. But then for the Jamaica thing, I remember going to set on the first day of season 1 of Step Up, and Jamaica walks in. I'm like,
you're like, wait a minute.
So that just reminded me that I was not supposed to do Honey 4. I bombed because I was supposed to have something bigger with better pay. And
Oh yes.
and doing what I really wanted to do, because 2017, I was like, I want to start acting. I never acted before. I didn't have training in that either. But that was the year that I wanted to do it. And I keep saying I don't train anything. I know it sounds crazy, but
literally every actor and dancer right now is like, okay, so I've trained for 18 years, have not gotten an acting role, I have not gotten my big break in dance, but you have a gift. And I think that's, some people just have this innate gift. I did not have that. I had to train really hard, honestly, to get good, you know? And you're one of those lucky people. But then, see, when you have that luck, then you have to seize the opportunity and you have to work hard. It doesn't just drop.
No, for sure. And that's why, even with me not being trained in dance, when I got to LA, I made sure I did train in dance. And then after, you know, getting season 1 without any acting training, I got to finally train this year at an acting studio. And now everything's making sense. Like, oh. But the best experience you get is on the job, like, for sure. Like, I learned and grew, and Holly would tell you this, like, from season 1 to, like, up, like, I saw my growth just from being on set, being there.
She said she loved having you as the romantic lead this year in the series, and that the feedback that she got was tremendous in having you sort of lead the show. Yeah. When you opened the scripts for season 2, what was that feeling like?
It was, because it was crazy. A lot happened in season 2 compared to season 1. And just especially like my love life, I'm with my on again, off again boyfriend, Rigo. Now all of a sudden I'm with my childhood friend, Dondre, who throws the parties. So I'm reading the scripts like, Holly, like.
These are juicy though. As an actor, that's what you want.
Super juicy. And it made it made the audience torn after the season wrapped, because they're like, no, I like you with Dondre. No, I like you with Rigo. Like,
do you have a preference for Poppy?
I knew she was gonna ask that. It's weird because I like my relationship with both of them because it's like different dynamics. Like, even though with Rigo, it's, you know, this crazy, complicated, but, you know, people really go through that stuff in their real relationships. So I feel like it's real. But then also I love how Dondre treats her like a woman, and she really feels like she has that support from him. But, you know, they always say, you know, the girls like the bad guys.
Of course they do. And it makes for good TV.
Of course.
And it creates great roller coaster levels of emotion, which for you also is another great opportunity to showcase your acting skills.
Yeah, for sure. They really threw some stuff at me this season, and I was happy that they trusted me to, like, go there and talk about relationship. And even me having my mom finally be shown in this season, my relationship with her wasn't always that good. So it was cool, like, seeing my character go, you know, differently, and see, like, okay, she can do this, and she can act, and she can
and she's gonna be okay,
and she's gonna be okay, and she's gonna figure it out.
What do you relate to in terms of Poppy as a character, and then what is something about her that you're like, that is not me at all?
Okay, so Poppy is she's very outspoken, very sassy, which I'm a sassy girl too. But I'm nice, and she's nice too, but she's very very outspoken. She speaks her mind.
A little more direct, yeah.
She's very direct, and she's real, and she cusses a lot, which I don't cuss that much.
At least not yet in this show.
Not yet. And yeah, but the crazy thing is I learned a lot from Poppy because I wasn't that outspoken. I wasn't that direct. I'm not as outspoken as her, but she's helped me in my own personal life to speak my mind or speak up on issues that maybe I wouldn't speak up before.
It's important too. I think sometimes as women we silence ourselves, and I don't think we should. I mean, there's sometimes I think we need to temper something, but I think that there's a time and a place to say I want or I need or this is what is right.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, no, super important. And she helped me to just be confident because Holly wrote her as this, you know, curvy, voluptuous, confident girl that she doesn't care what she looks like or how much or her weight or whatever. She's confident. She's going to get down with anybody on the dance floor and she's going to own it. And Poppy helped me to be like, okay, like, I can do that too.
You're like, I got it. You've had the opportunity, of course, to work with Jamaica Craft, but there have been so many incredible choreographers that have also come in for an episode or two. I know that the season finale, you had probably two of my favorites.
Oh,
So
yeah.
You think you've got Travis Wall, and you have Luther Brown. Lou, I love Lou so much.
Me too. I work with him also on Bad Boy. He was one of the choreographers too. So we go back. way back.
So what was it like? Because I've got to imagine for a choreographer stepping onto the set, this is Jamaica's home. And so they probably feel a little bit uneasy. But this was a big, epic number that they did, Genesis, for the finale. And I hope it gets nominated because, honestly, it was
I love that song.
An incredible blend of like contemporary and urban dance and everything that's being done. What was it like to work with the two of them?
Yeah, it was awesome. I knew Luther, but it was my first time working with Travis, which now we make jokes. I call him my chocolate sister. It's like an inside joke.
That's great, though.
Yeah, but he's so cool and very super talented. Both of them are very talented and different. Like Luther has this nasty Luther pocket that he has his own sauce, and you to try to get
and he
it.
Goes,
and he's like a ziggy zig and a zig. It's awesome.
There's no counts. There's an
Yeah, no counts. All and zigs and zas.
You gotta listen to it.
No, but it was great because he really turned that number into like something great and something special and hype, and it had these nasty grooves in it, and it was just a cool vibe working with him and Travis as well. Learning, new steps and things like that, and yeah, they both were just awesome to work with.
Yeah, and I think a great way to sort of end the season too, because the series is based around dance, and doing a big epic number for the finale is kind of incredible. For people that don't know, and I was bragging about these numbers, if you're not watching the show, a lot of other people are, so you should be. Between season 1 and season 2, an 884% increase in viewership.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's huge, and yeah, that's why I think people really love this season, like season 2, like a lot. You can just tell from the numbers, or like more people are finding out about it, but that's a dramatic increase. We talk about it all the time, like
it's insane.
Look at all these views compared to our pilot episode of the first season.
Yeah, the pilot episode was 1.3 million, and that was in the first 7 days. Yeah. It was 11.5 million the first 7 days for season 2, the first episode. You should be very proud of that, all of you.
Thank you, guys.
What kind of feedback are you getting from the fans about Poppy and about your work? Because I know that there's a lot of feedback on this show is a word of mouth show.
Yeah, we got a lot of great feedback. Everyone really loved this season better than season 1. Not that season 1 wasn't good, but
Season 2 was stronger.
Season 1 was here. It was stronger, and it really leveled up this season. And people love that you got to see inside of people's personal life. Like you got to meet Odaly's parents. You got to meet my mom. You got to see why people act the way they act and walk the way they walk and do what they do. You got to see people's characters really develop. Like my character from season 1 being a little girl to season 2, now she's growing up and being a woman.
She's a young woman.
Yeah, she's a young woman, and she really wanted lead on this tour. So she's changing. She's still outspoken. She's still Poppy, but I feel like she kind of tried to tone it down a little bit because she really wanted to prove to stage that she could be the lead woman on this tour. So yeah, they loved all the drama, the relationships, and all of that.
I think they relate to some of that in their own life.
Yeah, it's real stuff that we...
Yeah, they may not be going on tour with Sage, but...
Yeah, but real stuff that you go through as a dancer and just in your home life, or,
the love life. Yeah.
The love life.
We've all done that.
Losing family members and trying to figure out, not being in the streets to really making your career like what it is, like with Rigo. And so it was cool.
In the midst of all of this success with Step Up High Water, there's a small show called Coachella with Beyonce that wound up this really small show. I'm completely downplaying it, into this epic documentary, 2-hour documentary called Homecoming, which I saw on the big screen, and I was like, this is the way to see it.
Yeah.
Seeing it on the big screen, because I did watch it at home first, I was thinking... It gave me chills, like the hair on my arms was standing up just listening to the audience at Coachella just screaming for you guys and screaming for Beyonce. And I thought, to be a performer in that even first moment where the lights go up, can you describe it for me?
Yeah, the feeling, it was an amazing feeling, but I was definitely nervous because it was so many people out there in Coachella. So just sitting there when you hear that music, like, you're like, okay, it's go time. Like, here we go. But like, it was so many of us. So before the music even came on, we're like, let's go. Like, we're like pumping each other up, amping each other up. So that like made it good because it was like really great energy. So yeah, it was it was an amazing feeling.
We got a little bit of a look at the rehearsal process. What was the rehearsal process like for you? Because it was obviously from Beyonce's perspective, but how about for you coming in and rehearsing? How long did you rehearse?
A long time. I rehearsed for 2 months. Others were in there for like 4 and 6, like workshopping, and we rehearsed pretty much every day, like except for like one day.
You got one day off.
Yeah, it was like my life for that 2 months was Beyonce, and we couldn't talk about it. We couldn't say anything. You couldn't say who you're in the rehearsal with. Like, don't tell your mama, don't tell your daddy, don't tell your family members. They wanted to be very, very like.
Could you say you're working on a project with Beyonce, or you just had to be like,
No.
I got hired for a dance project?
No, you're just on a project. You're working and can't say who. Yeah.
So I'm assuming Chris Grant was the one that said, come aboard. This is a wonderful full circle moment for you.
Oh my gosh, yes, full circle.
How did you not ugly cry? Did you ugly cry? Because I would have.
I cried like after the show, but guess what he told me is like, yo, I think, you have to do this because, it's this full circle from Pepsi and all that. I was like, does she remember it? Because we also just did like a Old Town Road video on my IG. He was like, yeah, she remembers. I was like, really? I don't know if he was just telling me, but I was like, okay, I'll go with it. But no, it was definitely full circle. He asked me and I did audition. They had an audition, I think in December the year before, and then I didn't go to that one. Then I went to like the callback when they had everybody call back and went to that. But yeah, pretty much him got me on, and
that's when a choreographer relationship does help you.
Yeah, it does. I still have the audition. I still have to go in there and go through it and do the old thing. But yeah, that's.
Did you guys realize how epic it was? Because I think that the planning in terms of the costumes and everyone's look and the message that was coming across and the styles of dance that were represented, did you realize how significant it was? Or when it came together, that's when it kind of...
It's like when it came together, because a lot of it we were still like workshopping on choreography. They were still trying to get the flow and see how many people they wanted on the risers and how many people they wanted off and when to come on and when to go off. So, and then you're on the riser, so you don't really see it like fully unless you're not in that number. Right. I think until Homecoming came out, I was like, yo,
it's to die for.
Yeah, and I love that she did it because she got to show what you didn't see on YouTube or when YouTube showed it live. You got to see like the whole show, the transitions, everything, and that I didn't really fully see until like Homecoming came out. So
I think what was interesting too, because I did watch the YouTube live show and then I saw Homecoming, is that Beyonce there was the Coachella cameras for the YouTube live show, and then there were the Homecoming cameras, and then you're seeing these different perspectives, and she is an artist and she knows what she wants and what look, and obviously she's got an A+ team around her, but I was amazed at how meticulous the work was.
Yeah, and she's very hands-on, which is really dope. She's very hands-on. Like, she had to watch the show before she would even get up there to make sure the lighting is right, transition was right. Out. Yeah, she was stepping out, making sure that everything looked good and how she imagined it. So I love that because a lot of the artists relying on, their choreographers or creatives and things like that, but she knew exactly what she wanted, and she made some changes where it was like, oh, this is epic, because like the opening number, it didn't start off with everybody on stage. It started off with just a couple of the girls on stage. Then she was like, everybody get on stage. And we got on there, and it just made a huge difference because the energy...
The impact
was, like, crazy. And she made that change because she was like, yo, I want this to feel like a real homecoming college band Greek show.
And opening the world up for people that don't know about historically Black colleges and universities and the shows that go on and the heritage and the history of dance and music is incredible.
Yeah, it's so much history. And I love that they pulled from the source. She didn't just
hire a bunch of people.
Hire a bunch of people or just go to people who think they know. Like, we had real people who were on in the show who are Greek, who are in these fraternities and sororities who can tell you about the culture. And I love that was like, she wanted it authentic.
Yes.
And I think
it reads authentic too. And I think that's important. What's the lesson that you learned walking away from working on this epic? It really is an epic project.
No, it's epic. It just let me know like how much work it really takes to put on a successful show like that. She said in the documentary, like, people are afraid to rehearse and they don't want to put in the work. And she did like 6 months worth of rehearsals for one show. I didn't even do that much rehearsals for a whole tour that I went on. So it just lets me know that, like, wow, this is what it takes to be
at the top of your game. Because I think Beyonce, like, listen, she could go up on stage and do a bunch of her greatest hits, do a couple Destiny's Child songs, and people would pay $250 to go and see that show. But she's not doing that. She's constantly evolving. And
they were saying that was the best show she's ever done. So to be a part of that history, it's like,
how does she top that? She'll find a way.
She will find a way. She's Beyonce, and she has a great team, so she'll definitely find a way. But that was pretty epic.
It's so fun to top, I know. Did it inspire you? Because what I love about you is that you've been doing, like, the Black Panther Challenge, and you did the Us dance video, which is why I've been singing, I got 5 on it all day. But you're getting great recognition. Like, Jordan Peele is, like, reposting, and Lupita.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it inspired me to just do my own thing. I came, I told you, no training and no family and friends, so I had no choice but to figure it out, and then I had no choice but to be like, you know what? I came out here older as well. Like, I didn't come when I was like 19, 20. I came out older, so I really was like, I don't have time to waste to try to figure it out. But
now is the time.
Now is the time, and then I'm going to just do what I want to do. And I love creating. I like directing and things like that. I would eventually want to, like, direct later on. So doing, like, videos like Us and Black Panther was, like, ideas that I had that I'm like, okay, let me call my friends and see if they're up to my crazy idea for the day. And I never expect to go viral. I never expect for it to really hit like that. But I just love just being creative and getting my ideas out there and getting, like, pulling inspiration from different videos or the trailer, like with Us. So it's cool to see that it gets as big as it does. I never expected to do that.
But you're hitting, like, a cultural, like, touch point. Like, people are responding to it. So you have to know that your ideas are smart ones. So
yeah, because now people are, like, recommending movies for me to do, and they're like, well, the movie theater should, like, hit you up, and they're like, you should do videos for that. It's crazy how people are getting these ideas, or the dancers
they
are
want
like,
to see more from you.
Yeah, they do, and then it helped promote the movies, like, especially Black Panther going on. Like, when we did that challenge, it was on, like, all these news outlets, and now people are, like, going
Instagram was going nuts.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Like, we started a whole movement.
Exactly. You have the power to start a movement. I have a couple fan questions. We only have a few minutes left, but I want to make sure that I get some of these because there's some great ones.
Okay, cool.
Shanice, and I love this one. What's your best advice for dancers who are about 18 to 22 who are trying to break into the commercial dance industry?
Best advice is just to do it. I mean, it's crazy because I told you I moved in a month and I didn't plan. Now, you do have to plan and save and all of that.
Don't necessarily do
it that way, but then whatever it is that's stopping you, like, get rid of those doubts and believe in yourself and just go for it. Like, I feel like, like, inside, like, when you're destined to do something, and if it's that feeling that you have where like, okay, I can't stop thinking about this. I can't stop thinking about moving to LA and moving to step into a new career, then you just have to just do it.
Trust that creative gut.
Trust it and not be afraid.
We like to talk ourselves out of things too, I think, sometimes. So, squash that one and let the artist rise through. Let's see. This is a little bit along the line. She said, I love your Black Panther challenge. This is Soblema. She said, what have you learned developing and directing your own content, and how quick is the turnaround for those projects?
See, I tell people I like for people to think that I just woke up one day and did a video and then boom, here it goes. But actually, I do take it takes a lot of thought process for me, because I have to listen to the song over and over and over and over and over and over, and then think of, like, okay, the choreography, then think of, like, the concept, and then it can take like a week, or it can take like 2 times meeting up to do choreography and workshopping on that for me to really, like, it's all come about. And then now I'm, like, directing. So I'm like, I'm in it, and then I'm directing. Then I also edit my own videos too. So I'm, like, wearing all these hats. But it just pushes me each time I do a video. It pushes me. So, okay, how can I top this video? Okay, how can I top this video? How can I top this video? So it pushes me harder.
And you've got a great role model in Beyonce, because she's in the same situation.
Exactly.
Yes. How do I top that? Oh, she's going to show us. I think this one's interesting. This is from Audrey. What was the toughest dance to learn and or choreograph? And if you had to further train in a style, what would you pick?
So toughest to learn as far as, like,
maybe from Step Up High Water. Was there a challenging one, or from Homecoming?
What was challenging? Not necessarily challenging. So the cool thing was Jaquel Knight, also one of Beyonce's choreographers.
Yes.
He also choreographed a number for Step Up. So I got to see him episode 3. And that was probably the most challenging choreo because it was a lot. Like a lot. It was fast and it was a lot of high energy and it was long. That was probably the most challenging because of that. What was the other question?
And then the other
it
one
was like 3 questions. And
yes, it was. And if you want to train in a different dance style, like what style would you like to continue your training in? Other than obviously.
I would love to train more in like jazz and like ballet, which I know I'm like super late. But Jamaica, before season 2 started, she had put me into heels and she put me into ballet. And first I was like, am I gonna be taking ballet with a bunch of 2-year-olds, like 3, but there's like an adult, like
there's plenty of adult classes
yeah, it was an adult, like they were grown and like older, but they were killing it. Like I'm like, I need to be like this, and I actually enjoyed it, and just getting that foundation in there, I would love, like, because I feel like yes, you have hip hop and jazz and Afro beats and stuff like that, but like ballet and all that is like the foundation keeps you balanced,
keeps that core
going. That core really strong. So I would definitely like to just dibble dabble in that just for my own.
Yeah, it's good for your own. Yeah. It's always good to continue training. Mm-hmm. We have time for one more question, and that is, in 5 years, where do we see Kendra?
In 5 years, I love dance, but I really want to put my whole feet in acting. So I would love to book more acting roles and booking a movie and then directing a film one day. So yeah, in 5 years, those are.
You'll be doing it. I have no qualms, no reservations about that whatsoever. You're a superstar.
Thank you.
And we're hoping, fingers crossed, for season 3 for
keep watching
Step Up High Waters. With an 884% increase, I don't know how YouTube's not going to pick it up. So
YouTube, the numbers don't lie.
Well, thank you so much for coming here. You are a joy. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media if they're not already following you.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook.com/officialKO. You can also find me on Instagram at MsK.O and Twitter MsKO_. One of these days, I'm going to have all of those the same, so it just makes it easier. But just type in Miss K, I'll come up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, she's the only one. You'll find her.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of To The Point. We want to thank Dance Network and Popcorn Talk. And, of course, for all your dance news, check out the latest on dancenetwork.tv. Next week, we're going into So You Think You Can Dance. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.